Well, hello, welcome to the new video, and this week we are testing the facelifted Kia EV6. Well, I've done just over 1000 kilometers with this car, and I have to tell you this is a really good electric car. Let's have a closer look at the car. So, in the front, as you can see, we have a brand new design of the lights, which they sort of have these separate eyes, but they are connected with this bit of plastic, so you have a light signature like this. They look really good. And then, well, nothing is changed in the front. You still have this opening for cooling down the battery as a cooling element, and we have no aerodynamic tunnels, maybe, which they could have done maybe with the car. But yeah, but that's about it. This is the long-range model with all-wheel drive, and what they've done with this model is that they've given it a bigger battery. So now it has the 84 kilowatt hour net capacity battery instead of the 77.4 kilowatt hours. And this makes the car slightly heavier. The weight went up from 2090 kilos to 2160 kilograms. Let's have a closer look here at the suspension and wheels. So we have a new design of the wheels, which looks really nice. These are 20-inch wheels, which is really high, big, with the tire size of 255 45R20. The car is running a big amount of positive caster geometry, which is very important, of course, for the behavior during cornering. So yeah, that is really about it. Then we have, I think, 2.9 meter wheelbase, which is good. We still have flash door handles, and together the car has a drag coefficient of 0.28, which is unchanged from what it was previously. So yeah, then we go towards the rear of the car. We have, as before, electrically controlled flap for the charging. Another novelty in this facelift is that now you have the 260 kilowatt hours of charging, kilowatts of charging, instead of 240 kilowatts that was there before. Now let's have a look into the boot as well. Which you can open like this electronically, and it's still a very good and very practical boot, which is long enough. And you also have a double floor under which you can store the cables, which is great. You have also these two levers for putting down the seats. You have a 12-volt socket in the boot, strong LED light. Yeah, it's a really nice boot. It's a really practical car. From point of design at the rear, really not much has changed. The only thing, but you have to go again from the side, is that this rear light is connected with the bit of trim that's going down, actually, it seems. And now that we're here, let's talk about the geometry of the wheels as well. So we are running more negative camber at the rear, and it seems like a very slight toe out at the rear. So yeah, that's about it. And last around the car, let me show you the space in the rear. And this is absolutely magnificent. Look how comfortable you can get in the car. So the first thing is that you can recline the sitting position in the rear, which is fantastic. Then you have the air conditioning here in the B pillar. So that is a really fantastic position, because then the air flows straight to your face. You have a big panorama up front. You have actually a decent sized door bin for a 1 liter bottle or 0.7 liter bottle, heated seats, space here in the door again, and also the armrest with cup holders, and also a low-through access to the boot. Also, in terms of connectivity, you are not missing out on two USB-C connectors on the side of the front seats. So yeah, really nice actually, this car for the family. Also, look at the opening, how wide it is. Incredible. And then let's have a look under the bonnet. You also have a slightly newer design in the interior. You have a white trim steering wheel, which is nice. But more about that, of course, during the driving. And now let me open the bonnet and show you the space that we've got here. And we have another 20 liters of storage under this plastic cover. You have some kit in here, as you can see. and also you have an opening for a classical 12-volt battery, which is 60 ampere hour battery, right? And as before, you can get this car with the rear wheel drive, 228 horsepower, or this all-wheel drive with 325 horsepower and 605 newton meters of torque. In terms of dynamics, we are doing 0.0 to 100 kilometers in 5.3 seconds and a top speed of 180 kilometers per hour. So yeah, I think that would be about it to the Walkaround of the facelifted Kia EV6. And now let's hop in the car and talk about more about the experience with this car, because this is a really good EV cruiser. All right, one other thing I forgot to mention is of course the driver's conception of the car, or otherwise where the driver sits, where the crew is positioned. And as you can see here, I'm quite a tall man, and now the seat is slightly more rear than I'm sitting, because you have this comfort position of it's electrically adjusting when you step in. So you're sitting somewhere around here, and that is actually quite close to the front wheels. Usually in a driver position car, I would sit somewhere around here. So that could be maybe slightly better. It's something that is unchanged from the previous generation. I mean, it's still okay, but you will just get a little bit of a better feel when sitting in such position. Okay guys, so now let me try out the charging speed. So the very nice thing in the Kia is that you can open the charging flag from inside the car. Charging door is open. So now you step outside and go there. So now you come here and the flap is open. This is what it looks like. This shows you the percentage of the battery on quarters. This is with which you close it. And I don't know what is this. This is probably hold for holding the charging. Anyway, so now let me connect the CCS cable. This is the most used charger in my city. So as you can see how ruined this cable already is. All right, so we are connected, and then we start it up. You have a special Kia card which looks like this, and you initiate the charging. And now let me check the biggest speed. We are starting the charging test at 20% battery, right? Let's see what is going to be the biggest speed of charging. That's what I'm interested. Whether the 258 or 260 kilowatts is right. The battery is preconditioned at the optimum temperature, so it should do something very good. So let me test out the charging. We are starting at 20% battery. The battery is optimally preconditioned, so we should get the best performance possible from the battery. And already we are at 147 kilowatts. I'm going to follow the charging curve further. 171, look at that. 174. Wow, look at this. In only 3 minutes, we did 6.4 kilowatt hours, 7 kilowatt hours into the battery. It's incredible. Right, so we are at the 400 kilowatt hour charger. I had to move because I noticed over there that that was actually only a slower charger, 400 volt. This is the 800 volt charger. So I had to move here to this place. So the car is connected. Now let's see what's going to be the top power with this charging. So we are starting at 28%, 30%, currently 75 kilowatts of charging power, 89. So it's growing. I'm going to clock it. Wow, look at this. At 45%, we are maxing out at 254 kilowatts of charging power, getting grounded into the battery, 255. So the maximum set it should be 258, maybe 260 if it's a little bit over. Let's see, 255 for now, 47%. All right, we are at 50% and it just clocked up at 257 kilowatts. So yes, there is an increase in the charging power with the new EV6, and you can see that very clearly in here. 257 kilowatts, and we are only here what amount of time? Can I see that? We're only here 5 minutes, and we've gone from 30% to 52% in 5 minutes, which is absolutely crazy. And now at 52%, we've gone down to 205 kilowatts. So the maximum charging speed of the new EV6 facelift is 257 kilowatts in reality that I achieved during this test. And this just confirms to me that the new EV6 facelift has brought up the changes to the battery and charging, which are significant for long travels. So this car is going to be fantastic for long travels. And here is also the connection of the design that I was talking earlier in the Walkaround. Whoa. Well, welcome inside the facelifted EV6 GT line long range. Well, and let me tell you, this is a really fantastic electric cruiser. I really love this car, it's really good. So the changes in the interior include new trim on the dashboard with the GT line logo over there, and it has a nice sort of touch to it. You have a Meridian stereo, really nice touch. Actually, it's a really good stereo during driving. It's really loud, really high quality. It's really fantastic. And then in terms of design and also in terms of control, so we have a new steering wheel, brand new steering wheel with the Kia logo on the right side. It's it's something new in all of the cars, and I really like this steering wheel, and I particularly like this white bit of trim over it. And this is leather steering wheel, really nice. You have buttons, really good controls, and also the novelty is that you have a drive mode button here on the steering wheel, so you can change the modes during driving very easily. I think before you had it somewhere in here in the center console. Let me start up the car. So yeah, then in the center console, I think it's slightly simplified. You still have the rotating knob, you still have the starting button, which is rotated to the driver, and it's very easy, very quick to start up the car. And then alongside these buttons and knobs, you have the ventilated seats. Let me turn that on, it's really hot. Heated seat, heated steering wheel. You also have the button for hang on, you also have the button for the cameras. So yeah, also the novelty I think is we have a higher quality cameras than we had before. This is really nice. The car also has the automatic parking assist, which is cool. So yeah, I think really good in this regard. And you can turn it off with the button as well. You have the parking sensors, then you have the wireless charging as well here, very easily positioned. You just put the phone here. Really nice. 2 cup holders, additional space for parking tickets or something, and a very deep and very big spacious armrest inside. Look at where I put my feet, where I put my arm, how deep it is. really nice. Then in terms of these displays, you still have this display, which is for the air conditioning, and you can turn it on with the touch of a button like before to the navigation or to the multimedia shortcuts. So that is very good. You have the rotating knobs for setting up the temperature, and you also have the driver only function. So you have the air conditioning, which is only for the driver, so it doesn't waste electricity, which is really good. Then we have a typical curved screen ahead of you, really nice quality. I think, yeah, slightly newer design to the infotainment, which is a new Kia, and it's a really nice design actually, I have to say. You have things like the sport or the valet mode. But the sports, what is the sports? I'm interested. So you have this football, golf, basketball. I think you can probably play some game in here or something. Oh no, these are the results. Wow, this is really cool. So you can check the results of your favorite sports club. That is actually quite cool, I have to say. And then you also have something called car wash mode, which sets up the car for the car wash. And then you have these EV settings where you have absolutely everything you need. You can precondition the battery. You can see how many percent of power, or what is using how many percent of power, the driving, electronics, climate, or battery care. Really good sort of information that you get here. And then down here you have this floating console, and down there you have the 2 USB-C connectors. another one, so you have 3 total, and one 12-volt socket in there, and also a massive storage area down there where you can store loads of things. All right, anyway, let's start driving. So the one thing I'm still having to do is to test out the maximum charging speed, and that is one of the novelties of this car, because the biggest novelty on this car, on this long range, is the bigger battery. So the Kia went for a bigger battery. They went from 77.4 kilowatt hours net capacity to 84 kilowatt hours net capacity. This battery can also get more power of charging, now 260 kilowatts instead of 240 kilowatts before, and it has the range of 522 kilometers, I think it was. The only downside to all of this is that the car is now heavier. Of course, you have bigger battery, the car is going to be heavier. So I tested this car, this long-range all-wheel drive before, and that car weighed at 2090 kilos, and this car now with a bigger battery and the same equipment is 2160 kilos. So there is a weight increase, and therefore I would expect that they probably upped the power or did something so that the efficiency wouldn't be worse, but actually not even the drag coefficient, it stayed the same at the still very respectable 0.28. But I think if they really tried even harder, they could have achieved even a lower drag coefficient. So there are no things that would sort of balance the more weight that you get, and therefore we get a slightly higher energy efficiency with this car than I got before. So when I was driving alone, it's actually very interesting, and I'll listen probably carefully because I did loads of things. So the lowest I got was 11.4 kilowatt hours on the B roads of efficiency, and that was actually really nice. So that was fantastic. And then you can do driving around the city and the B roads in around 15-16 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers in the normal mode. And then the motorways I drive in sports mode as usually, and the economy was like this. So when we went like full car, well, almost full, 3 people on the long journey, I set the tire pressures for a loaded car, and the motorway at 130 kilometers was 30.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So it was around 30 kilowatt hours. And then when we went home, we went at a slower pace of around 115 to 125 kilometers per hour, and that one we achieved only 22.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And then another scenario, I did the motorway into the mountainous region, so uphill overall, and I was driving on the motorway, and it was a windy weather, and there the economy was 28.2 at the speed of around 125 kilometers. And today I did the same motorway cruise again, but down the hill and with a really big speed of 150 to 160 kilometers per hour all the time in the left lane, like all ICE cars, and I did only 25 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. The interesting thing with that I was actually surprised it was such a good economy at 25 kilowatt hours, and the battery percentage was going down very slowly. So I was really happy with that. And I was actually not surprised, but I was so happy with the range because I could do this 230 kilometer motorway cruise at really high speed with the electric car, just like I would do with an ICE car. So yeah, I really have to say the Kia EV6 is a fantastic cruiser. If you want to drive motorways, if you want this as your only car, it is absolutely fantastic. So to the energy efficiency, in some scenarios it is slightly higher than when I tested this car before at the pre-facelift, but overall yeah, still really good. And with the faster charging, the longer journeys are going to be much easier, because you're gonna get that small percentage in between 30 to 40% charge or 30 to 50% charge much more quickly with the 260 kilowatts. The manufacturer states 18 minutes, 10 to 80%, so we're gonna try that out maybe. So let's see. And right now, as I'm driving, very relaxingly, in a relaxing manner, I'm doing 14.7 kilowatt hours in normal mode talking to you. So as you can see, this is a 2.1 ton, almost 2.2 ton car, and still driving for fantastic efficiency, which is lovely. And actually, another thing I have to mention, I don't even have the EV specific tires. I have the normal grippy Continental Premium Contact 6 tires, which are actually really wide, 255, 45, R20. Okay, now let's come to the suspension. I remember that in the past EV6, I was like, this car is trying to be both sporty and comfortable. With this after facelift model, I have to say they went more for the comfort. What tells you about that is that there is a little bit of a wobble at the rear when you're cornering and you have a bump there, so the car wobbles a little bit at the rear, but it's not about the losing of the grip, it's about the body of the car which is moving about slightly. So the car is slightly softer than it was before, and I have to say it's a beautifully comfortable car to travel in. You can really do long distances so comfortably. Oh my god. Also, what helps to that is of course the long wheelbase, which adds to that, but the setting of the damping itself is really nice. There are some specific bumps which can be a little bit irritating, again because of the big wheelbase, which is a downside at these bumps, but overall really beautifully comfortable, filtering the bumps really nicely, and the structure of the bump. It's incredibly comfortable car. Also another thing that adds to the comfort and that is important for the comfort is the sound isolation, which is fantastic. I only measured at 55 decibels, 56 decibels at 130 kilometers. So this car, fantastic, really beautiful to drive. And then let's come to the performance. So we have 325 horsepower and 605 newton meters of torque. The manufacturer states 0 to 100 kilometers in 5.3 seconds, and I have to say it is fantastic. It's tickling your brain when you do this acceleration. You never in the real life, you really don't need it, but you just have enough power, whatever the driving scenario is, whether you need to overtake very quickly, you need to accelerate and join the motorway because you're late or something. It's just fantastic. I mean, the performance is really fantastic. I mean, it's that sort of a performance that I would actually say it's unnecessary. I wouldn't need that amount of performance in a car. So yeah. And then to the all-wheel drive system, it's preferring the four-wheel drive. It's preferring the rear, so you can get a little bit of a slide also with this car, which is quite nice. So yeah, so maybe let me sum up the car. So the car, I think, looks better than it did before from the front. I wasn't the biggest fan of the design from the front, but as you know in my videos, the design is not the most important. So if we are objective, the Kia EV6 went to the improvements in terms of range, which was done by just simply giving the car a bigger battery and making it slightly more heavier, but that doesn't make the car worse. It's still a fantastic and arguably now even a better cruiser than it was before. It is also nicer on the inside. You have nicer materials all around you. You have nicer design of the interior with white trim on the steering wheel, which looks very nice, and also in the door cards. It's just yeah, it's just a really nice car to use every single day. And well, it costs around the same. So this car costs 70,000 euros, spec'd like this. I think the previous one was slightly less expensive, but the jump is not big, and I think the improvements that they've done are very reasonable, and you can feel them day to day, and you can drive this car just so comfortably, and just be actually proud that you're an EV owner, because this is a really good, efficient, usable electric car. So yeah, I think that would be about it, what I wanted to tell you to the Kia EV6 Long-Range all-wheel drive GT line. Well, and if you found this video useful, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, because more videos are coming on very soon, and I hope to see you in the very next video. In the meantime, take care of you and goodbye.